Hey guys, Chapter 10, Section 2 video here for you. We're going to talk about how can you describe the likelihood of an event. This is not our first video on this topic, but we're going to continue forward talking about likelihood and probability. So a lot of this discussion on likelihood and probability kind of comes down to a lot of game theory. Like when you're playing a game or you're maybe gambling something, playing the lotto, you often ask yourself, what's the chance of me winning? And so that's what probability is all about. So what is the chance you will win the lottery? Well, truth be told, it's not very high. What is the likelihood you'll become a famous actor or actress? These are questions people ask. And so likelihood, the chance, it's all wrapped up into mathematically what we call probability. So we're going to do a problem here in our notes. We're going to call it example 1. And the problem has to do with Mrs. Borst. Mrs. Borst wants to win a giant stuffed animal at the carnival. Have you ever gone to the carnival before and played those carnival games? They have all these games they set up, and if you play well, you can win things like a big stuffed animal. But those games aren't easy to win. So Mrs. Borst decided to play the Go Fish game. It's the one where they have all the little fish in the tank and you try to fish for them, and if you get one, you win a stuffed animal. Now the game is set up with a tank containing 1 green fish, 3 blue fish, and 6 yellow fish. So, to win the giant stuffed animal, Mrs. Borst needs to catch a green fish. What is her chance? So here's our first step in this process. Step 1, we need to write out the facts of the story because that was a lot of information that we just kind of breezed through. So here are the facts. There's 1 green, 3 blue, and 6 yellow. We should definitely write that down. Then what we're going to do is add all that up. How many fish are in the entire tank? Well, let's see, 6 plus 3 is 9, plus 1 more is 10. So there's 10 fish in total. All right, let's picture those fish. Here are all those fish. Lots of yellow, some blue, but to win, what does she need? She needs that green fish. So here is step 2. Step 2 is the probability piece of this. Probability says, what's the probability of getting a green? What is her chance? Well, there's only 1 green out of 10 total fish, so she has a 1/10 possibility of winning. A 1/10 possibility. Now, 1 divided by 10 can be changed into a decimal and a percent, which I'm going to do right now. That's the same as 0.1, which is the same as 10%. So Miss Borst has a 10% chance of getting the green fish and winning the stuffed animal. That's going to be step 4. Let's write that down in a sentence. So there is a 10% chance Mrs. Borst will win the stuffed animal. Okay, so now it's your turn to try. With that same problem, I want you to figure out what's the probability of Mrs. Borst getting a blue fish from the tank. Go ahead and hit the pause button on your device and see if you can answer that question. Okay, so let's check your answer. So the probability of getting a blue fish, well, remember there were 3 blue fish, and there are 10 fish altogether. So she has a 3/10 chance. But 3 divided by 10 is 0.3 as a decimal, which is the same as 30%. So she has a 30% chance of blue, which is higher than green. So there's a 30% chance Mrs. Borst will get a blue fish. All right, so we're going to do example 2 now, and I'm going to join in on the games here. I want to win a prize. Mrs. Neer wants to win a prize too, but here's my competition. I'm going to be spinning a spinner. The spinner has 8 equal sections. 4 of the sections are blue, 2 are red, and 1 is green, and 1 is yellow. We're going to go through all of our steps. So step 1, what are the facts? Well, the facts are we've got 4 blue, 2 red, 1 green, and 1 yellow section. Now that adds up for a total of 8 sections. Okay, well, what does it take to win? To win a prize, Mrs. Neer must spin a yellow. I need a yellow to win. So what is my probability? So step 2, let's find the probability of getting that yellow. So how many yellow sections were there? Let's look back at our facts. There were only 1 yellow section out of the 8 total. So I only have a 1/8 chance. Now 1 divided by 8, if I wanted to change that into a portion, is 0.125. That's 12.5%. So I have a 12.5% chance of winning. So step 4, we're going to write our sentence. There is a 12.5% chance Mrs. Neer will win the game. All right, 12.5%. Okay, guys, so as we're doing all these examples and we're kind of talking about them, I want to talk about the difference between theoretical versus experimental probability, because they're two different things. Theoretical probability is what we think will happen. So it's a mathematical way of figuring out what do we think is a possible outcome. But experimental is when you actually do it and you actually see what happens. So in the examples we just did, everything we calculated was theoretical. I didn't actually spin the spinner. Mrs. Borst didn't actually play the fish game. We just talked about it. That's theory. That's talking about what could happen. Experimental would be like if I actually went and played the game. If I actually went and did the spinner to see if I could win. If Mrs. Borst actually went and played the Go Fish game, that would be experimental. So you see the difference between them? Alright guys, so wrapping up this video, just remember there are kind of 4 steps to the process. Writing out the facts, figuring out the probability, writing it as a decimal and a percent, and then getting that sentence written. So there's kind of, like I said, 4 steps to the whole process. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.